definitely ban worthy as well. Very good card. It's just a very old card that aged very well into Yu-Gi-Oh! But for all the wrong reasons, because it's very degenerate for a lot of the purposes that it gets used for. So you got it right. Neptune was banned. You didn't get right that Instant Fusion was also banned, but it got limited, so basically it's close enough.
Okay. Okay.
And Nightingale's fine. A lot of people thought if you just ban Nightingale, it kind of solves the problem, but because Nightingale's been a part of other combos that are also degenerate. But Neptune is just waiting to be abused, and there's plenty of other ways to abuse him. So we're glad that he's gone.
Okay. Okay.
But a very cool
God.
card. Very neat little like copy effect text, like a very unique effect. Not many cards have that text in Yu-Gi-Oh! So that was a cool one to show you. All right, last but not least. Oh, people are gonna be happy I'm showing you this combo. So I need to give you a bit of setup for this. So for this combo, this is you. You have this monster on your side of the field.
What the fuck is that? Okay.
Read the text. Read the text, the flavor text.
Apparently totally unreliable. He wonders if he has incredible potential. Okay.
That's you. Okay. And then this is me.
He seems to be very unreliable, but he might have incredible potential. Okay.
So these are vanillas. These have no effects. But what I want you to pay attention to is the attack stat. So your monster has 0 attack. Okay. And my monster has 100 attack. Okay. That's very important for this combo. Okay. For the purposes of this can be any 2 monsters. I'm just showing you just vanillas because they have no effect text because it doesn't matter. You just need to have one monster, like you need to control monster and I need to control monster. Okay? So this is what our board looks like. You have Soitsu, I have Aitsu. You play this card. Give this card a read.
Increase the attack of all wind monsters by 500 points and increase their defense by 400. Okay?
Okay. So what happens when you play Rising Air Current?
I have 500 attack.
Very important. Okay, good to know.
600, but then you would have no defense.
No. What attribute am I?
Oh, never mind. Okay, yeah, sorry, you're fire. Sorry, yeah, okay. Sorry, my apologies. Okay.
So you just have 500. Okay.
Okay.
Give this card a read.
What the fuck is going on here? Pole position. It's a trap card. It's continuous. The face-up monsters with the highest attack on the field is unaffected by the effects of spell cards. When pole position is removed from the field, destroy the face-up monsters with the highest attack on the field. Unaffected by spell cards. So because I have 500, I am now unaffected by spell cards. Is there something else?
No, this is it.
What? What the fuck? I'm so confused. All right, let me read this again. Okay, hold on. Apparently totally unreliable. He wonders if he has incredible potential.
You have to read the text on those guys.
No, I'm just... you ever... I don't know. You ever played like Undertale before? You ever played that game? Every time you save, it's... What does it say? It's like...
Determination.
Lines of like, the thought of the mouse getting the cheese makes you feel like incredibly...
Is that what this reminds you of?
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Like when I read it like...
Gotcha.
Okay.
Read pole position again.
The face-up monsters with the highest attack on the field is unaffected by the effects of spell. When pole position is removed from the field, destroy the face-up monsters with the highest attack on the field. I'm gonna be honest, I literally have no idea what's going on. What are you leading me towards?
Let me help you out. Okay.
Holy fucking hell.
What is the attack of your Soitsu?
After I play Rising Air Current,
this is the best Goi second hand I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
It's a field spell, it's permanent.
Yeah,
so this is a permanent card.
We have 500.
Okay, so now what's pole position going to do?
Make me immune to spell cards.
Okay, so if you're immune to spell cards, what happens?
Wait, so Rising Air Current no longer makes me immune to spell cards? Or no, because I'm unaffected by spell cards, which means Rising Air Current doesn't affect my attack anymore. So therefore I'm back at 0. Which means
correct.
You would be at the highest, but then
okay.
What the fuck is going on?
No, you're getting it. Go on.
The pole position is removed from the field. Destroy the face-up mod. So what? And then you destroy pole position, and therefore their monster is destroyed, and then therefore I live, and then Rising Air Current then affects me again.
And then what?
And then I win.
All right, this one might be too big brain for you. Maybe I have to help you out here.
I don't even know
okay.
What the fuck is...
Your Soitsu is affected by Rising Air Current, so it has 500 attack, right? It has the highest attack, which means pole position is now affecting it. What does pole position do?
Makes me immune to spell cards.
So what happens to your Soitsu?
That means I don't have the attack anymore.
Correct. Now, what is the highest monster attack on the field?
You are.
So now I'm immune to spell cards, but you're not. So what happens to your Soitsu?
I now get 500 attack you.
And now your pole position's affecting it. So what happens?
I'm not. It's what is this, like a continual loop to break my brain? So like I never.
Correct. Correct. That is exactly what this is. So basically, Soitsu with Rising Air Current gains 500 attack. That means it's the highest attack position monster on the field, or highest attack monster on the field. So pole position's now affecting it, making it immune to spell cards. It's immune to spell cards, so that means it goes down to 0 attack. And now Aitsu is the monster on the field with the highest attack. Because Soitsu's no longer affected by pole position, that means it gains the 500 attack back from Rising Air Current, which now means it's affected by pole position. And this literally is an infinite loop that if you do this, basically the game comes to a halt and nothing can be done because this is an infinite combo that makes it so that the game just stalls out essentially.
Can't you just play a monster with more attack?
No, because once this initiation happens, literally this continuous interaction of Soitsu gaining and losing attack because pole position is changing the target, you are not allowed to do, neither player can do anything because this is a literally constant chain of effects that is activating, that is continuously just going and you can't do anything. So this is an example of like an infinite loop in our game, which is very rare as a matter of fact. And as such, if anyone were to ever do something like this, a judge has to actually come over to the table and basically like just decide to like destroy one of the cards in the infinite loop so that the game can resolve. So I thought this would be a fun one to end on because I was curious if you could actually figure it out because it is very convoluted and stupid.
That is a beautiful card to draw.
The main question is, did they have to ban pole position?
Okay, so mechanically in Hearthstone, unless like the animations would take over the, I guess in this case
we still have the Omni negate at least.
On going, so therefore you couldn't resolve anything. But
sure,
the way it works in Hearthstone is like if I queue up a card at some point, it would break the chain. Like even though I'm watching all these animations unfold, at some point the interaction of my card would be played, and therefore I would break it. I didn't realize when Yu-Gi-Oh, like you guys are just fucking stuck there, like just waiting. That is what the fuck.
So is pole position banned? I will even I'll help you out. That's the only card in question. Because anytime there's any interaction where there's a monster on my field, a monster on your field, and there's a way to modify the stat of a monster with a spell card, this infinite loop can trigger. I gave you the most basic example here.
That is hilarious. That is actually insane. That this is a real thing. I think it's even better you did it with this example because the cards that you showed me look so stupid.
That's why I picked them. Actually, I found the dumbest cards imaginable to show you.
That is actually fantastic. What is what the fuck? The one before this is like, yeah, you die in 2 turns, idiot. This one is just, you can't literally play cards. It's incredible. I mean, if this is happening enough, it's like they would probably ban it. But I almost feel like the way that this is going to be done is that there's just like a unwritten rule. There's an agreement between players that's like, don't do this shit. Like,
you don't know Yu-Gi-Oh players, my friend.
But like, what is the end goal here if the judge comes and be like, one of the cards is destroyed? Right? What
so
happens?
If the judge comes and decides to like break the chain, then like something's destroyed, and then you just continue playing the game normally.
But that means the player who set this up is at just like a ginormous disadvantage because they're the ones that are playing this, and therefore the chain would no longer happen. So other than like the game being stalled, is there any like inherent advantage for doing this?
Nope.
So this is just someone fucking around here, and that's it.
Pretty much.
So I'll go on a limb here and say, like, I don't think pole position's banned just because of the fact that, like, they probably wrote in the rules for tournaments, like, don't do this shit. Or people understand that, like, if I'm the one doing it, yeah, I'm delaying time, but inevitably I'm going to be the one to suffer for doing this.
But did they have to ban it before coming to that conclusion?
So you're saying they banned it preemptively before this?
I'm asking a question. We play the game.
No.
It's any time it was ever banned.
No. I can see it, but no, I'll go no.
I don't answer?
I think they wrote the rules. Yeah. Go for it.
You're correct. They've never banned it. Yep. So basically, I think the rules are now, and I'm sure that the rules people in the comments are going to correct me here. I think it's actually illegal to even like execute this as a combo. I think like you might get like a game loss if you try to do something like this. Basically, there are very few like infinite loops like this in Yu-Gi-Oh, where like the game literally cannot progress, and it's basically because it's just the way pole position is worded. So some people are like just ban pole position, but it's such a bad card that no one would ever play otherwise. It's really just the fact that it's just so stupid, the way that the whole thing works out. And so, yeah, so basically there's the combination of, I'm pretty sure you cannot activate, I'm pretty sure the way it works now is you cannot legally activate a card that would initiate like an infinite loop where neither player can continue to play the game. I think it's like in the rules that that's the case now. But also, I think if there were to like accidentally cause an infinite loop, which is, like I said, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very rare to happen. I think, like I said, a judge comes over to the table, determines whatever is like the cause of the problem, and they just destroy the card, break the infinite loop, and now you like continue playing the game. Yeah. So this is a very trolly, very, very notorious, infamous, like dumb thing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has. This is a very old card. Pole position's from like the 4th set ever printed. So it's just a very dumb little combo that I thought would be fun to end the video on, because it's just absolutely absurd that something like this even exists in our game. Even by Yu-Gi-Oh! Standards, it's kind of crazy.
I mean, bro, I literally couldn't understand what the fuck you were talking about.
Yep. It's hard to intuit like when you're like describing it like this. If you saw it like actually playing out like in a video, for instance, I think it might make a lot more sense. But this one's it's a little bit like tricky in terms of like the specifics of it, but very dumb and very funny nonetheless. So that's some Yu-Gi-Oh! Combos, some of the old and some of the new. What do you think?
God help your game. that's I can't believe this. Oh my God.
I'm happy I'm still able to impress you after all these videos that we've done together.
I just like it's. I don't know. It's just shocking. Like I don't know how you guys get. Like it seems like when.
Are you happy now, DB Grinder?
Because it's the best thing, and once it gets nerfed, the power level gets lower, and it's very unlikely we get something like egregious again, because that's just the way they design the game. Your game's like, I say this in the Bazaar all the time. No matter how broken my build is, there's always a bigger fish. And like that's what your game seems to revolve around. Even if I nerf the top dog, the next biggest fish is like a centimeter smaller.
Yep.
And then that's what it is.
Yep. I always like to say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the Modern Warfare 2 of
How come whenever I drop pre-preparation of rights, I also draw Mitsurugi Mirror? What the fuck?
It's fun if it's like that though. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's the game that does what no other game does. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for another video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Let's go ahead and shout the patrons for all their continued support. So shout to Shout1317, Tim00x3, MBT Play Madolce, Moto, Cameron L. Smith, The Synchro Guy, Pony Stark, Dan the Man Hoban, Little Fade Leaf, Draconic, Brian Dancer in Class 7, Dylan Rare Hunter, JW11860, Flannel Daddy, literally all of the guinea pigs, Cheeks McLafferty, Stolfin Amethyst, MBT canceled by community soon, canceled by all committees soon, canceled by all players soon, Wonder Waffle, MBT and Nimnims 1, Boxer Breed Fueled Knight of Passion, Daniel Howe, Electrician of the Ice Barrier, Arco, and the Nova 129. Thank you again so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Should have set this down first. I could have resolved that. I should have resolved that. I didn't mean to play into an imperv column. Thank God it wasn't, though. We just win now, right? I guess we don't. Or do we? Behold, 3 bitches. I already banished Dormouse. It's fine. We're just not gonna respect Nibiru. They don't have it. Hoping to draw an Ash Blossom here. Unfortunate. Why'd I have to fuck up my arrows? Behold, the dumbest reason why I still play all 3 of my fucking shits. I already won anyway. I'm just doing the combo to prove that I can do it. Because obviously if I can't, then I am inevitably going to lose, even though I should have won. Because the opponent refused to surrender. And then I fuck up. You know? Get your card draw, see if I care. It's not gonna matter anymore. Oh, what a useless card. Hey, look who also gets to draw a card. And the card draw could have mattered from Garuda. Thankfully, it didn't. I don't have Nibiru, which was pretty much the only thing that could have saved me here. So that was fucking stupid. Cross out targets, why can't you just stay in the goddamn deck where you belong?
deciding the color of the rest of your life. Bit too heavy to think like that, but on both sides leave big impact. Get wise or rise, so it would be best to find some.
Some of my regrets come until I made it was wrong. I felt left to believe that I was alone. I learned it harder way, but you would have to go through what I've been through. 'Cause you're not alone in this frustration. So come with me when your mind gets at the road and treat you wrong. Make a move before they can make an act on you. One that you can't control on your own. And nobody is there to wait for you. Like a bad friend of the galley playing in the sun. And get the best from the soul. They drop the hammer down. Look around you for a sec. You may feel lonely, but you're not alone. In this world, we're right here with
Coincidence,
you.
I chose to meet you. Destiny, I saw the fall. I'm scarred up, but I'm feeling good. Destiny, I'm coming through. Part it's right. You're the fire, I'm the wind tonight. Burning dread, haha, that's right. Baby, 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 that's right.
Make a move before they can make an act on you. And nobody is there to wait for you. Like a bad friend at the galley playing in the zone. And get the best from my soul. Let's drop the hammer down.
So I pull the trigger, make it look flashy even when it's bitter. Cannot defeat me even when I lose, I stand right back. Just like go figure. You don't see what I see, but you don't have to see what I see. Just see how to ride, just follow my differences, we're still tied.
You're in the perfect time for getting big change, especially when you're ready. More times think no brutal till it catches you.
I don't feel like doing full combo. Let's just...
How's it going, dudes? Adultery is back in style. I am, of course, talking about the 1969 board game classic, Adultery, winner of the original Worst Board Game of All Time tournament, and crucial to our discussion today, a creation made by the one and only Diplomat Sales Company. If you are new here and just took all that in stride without knowing what any of that means, 1, I commend your bravery, and 2, strap in, we're only getting weirder from here. The Diplomat Sales Co. is one of the most storied figures of the surprisingly large naughty board game genre. A tight-knit group that includes such winners as Naughty Dominoes and Strip Checkers, basically the board game equivalent of the kids that would hang out underneath the bleachers. Diplomat was originally covered in the Worst Board Game Themes video, where we looked at all 3 of their titles and discovered their secret of how they stealthily changed their name to Topco before seemingly vanishing from the board game market altogether. But what we did not know at the time was that was a lie. For you see, what was originally thought to be the only 3 games of the Diplomat line soon became the first 3 games, as that guy on the Discord went on a research excavation and dug up 20 total titles that have been produced under the Diplomat Topco banner. And we're gonna jump on in and cover them all. Along the way, we'll learn to laugh, learn to love, and learn if it really is possible to kill a man through secondhand distress. 20 different titles of varying quality, strangeness, and gall, which we will cover in groups based on who was responsible for each one: Diplomat, Topco, or Topco subsidiary TLC. Surprisingly, only one of them made a game that came with a gun, so take your bets on who you think that was now. As for everyone else, it's time to venture forth on an adventure through this strange company's timeline, game by game. Beginning, of course, with the ones who started it all, the Diplomat Sales Co. The original Diplomat line consisted of 6 titles that really leaned into the whole, oh, look at us, this is something that we really shouldn't be doing right now theme. Case in point, the original 3, which I will do a quick rundown of now to avoid treading the same ground for like the 4th time. Adultery, the game made for no one. Spin the spinner, take a name, get freaky until the time ref barges in and says that it's time to knock it off. Not good for the general public, not good for swingers. Let's continue. Strip-tac-toe. Pretty standard stuff. Take off an article, place it in a square. If you win, you get a bonus card. First of the 3 to introduce the play-by-candlelight rule, but had enough sense to not require you to put the candle on the sheet. Lastly, bumps and grinds. Roll, move, remove. First one to lose all their articles wins. Continues the play-by-candlelight trend, but has you put the candle directly on the board as the only source of light. Surrounded by an increasingly drunk crowd, I now need to find a new house. And that's the original 3, but what I initially thought of as a trio turned out to be only half of the family. So let's meet the 3 new siblings added to this pack and see what they have to offer. All of these games were also released in 1969, thereby making Bumps and Grinds the youngest of the group, as will become apparent as we get deeper into the lore. So we'll just cover them in the order that I feel is appropriate, starting off by getting ornery with our office mates in the hit classic, Office Party. I gotta say, fellas, I do not see how this is generating value for the shareholders. Office Party sees players gallivant around their place of work doing the normal activities one would expect from a 9 to 5. Drinking, stripping, winning chips, and indulging in general hanky-panky. Gosh dang, Charles Schwab be going crazy. The game is very simple. Roll a dice and follow the effect of whatever space you land on. First player to make it all the way around the board twice wins. Now that is something that I was not expecting. Most of these titles base their win condition on the amount of clothes being removed, but this one is just a straight up race to the finish, meaning theoretically you could make it through a full game without a single article being lost. However, that is going to be pretty unlikely, as the game is certainly made to have you get a little lighter throughout. The game also comes with 2 types of cards that players can end up drawing: the boss cards and the sexitary cards. Aw, that's a good one right there. A+. A lot of these cards have about what you'd expect on them, but some of them are a little more creative, like show your belly button to everyone, play patty cake with any player, tell a joke, psych-analyze any player, and everyone's favorite, do a no-no. Yep, still no explanation on that one. And yeah, that's pretty much Office Party, save for the fact that this circle in the middle has been covered for the whole game. Gee, I wonder what's under there. Oh boy, another fire hazard! Yes sirree, just like in Bumps and Grinds, they have you place this confidence-inducing candle in the middle of the board on this dinky dish. But at the very least, they let you keep the other lights on this time, so they haven't totally lost it yet. No, that would happen just a short time after when they sent out their next title, 1969's Risk. Oh, French. Risque. Risque is... I mean, it's hardly even a game, really. It's closer to gambling than anything else. Gambling? How risque works is you lay out the square sheet on the ground and have one player sit on each side. Then the dealer sends out 7 cards to each player, which will remain face down. Starting with the dealer, he will reveal one of his cards at random before performing the effect on that card. Then it's the next player's turn. That player will then do the same, but must continue to flip over cards one at a time until they have a better poker hand than the dealer. So if the dealer has a 5, that person will need to flip over cards until they get a 6 or higher, a pair, or a straight if they're really struggling. The next player will then follow the same pattern, and this continues until all of the cards are flipped. Winner is the one with the best hand, and their reward is getting any clothes back that they lost that round. Game ends when one player can't lose no more. So yeah, it's pretty much just flip a card over and see what happens. You can't exchange a card, you can't switch with an opponent, you can't do anything to help your situation, but sit there and see what fate has in store for you. And buddy, fate has got an excellent deal on death today. See, this sheet is pretty much useless. The game can easily be played without it since all it uses is the cards. But I guess they had to find some function for it, so you know what? Something does go on the sheet now. Give it up for its most dread-inducing appearance yet. It's the candle! Boo! What, thought the flat board that we had it on earlier was a little too stable? Now try resting this sucker on the foldable twister mat that's about twice as flammable after bringing back the rule that this can be the only light in the room. Not to mention that everyone is sitting directly around this easily bumpable mat, and when they are out of cards, they need to roll the die on it to see how much they have to drink. Brother, this makes bumps and grinds look like a fire safety course. Welcome to the freaking club. But that's about all there really is to Risque. Very simple game, fun for the whole family. So let's head now to the final title of the original 6. A loaded game that could cause some recoil at the trajectory the game takes. Around the World in Bed, home to one of the most unique components I have seen in a board game, a gun. Granted, one that shoots plunger darts, but I still appreciate the gesture. Around the World in Bed is another simple one. How it works is you hang up the board on the wall so that the images of people going silly on each other are facing out. And the board must be at eye level and at least 7 feet away from the shooter. These are all regulation measurements, you hear? If you show up for a tournament and start trying your homebrew 6-foot shot, you're gonna get penalized for it. Whichever position is struck by the darts will be the position that the 2 players will be attempting. That happens until there is a mutual satisfaction, and the game continues until every position on the board is carried out, including Polish. This game really hates the Poles, gosh dang. Of course, being a diplomat title, it also comes with a candle, but at least this time they made it optional, seeing as it would need to be pretty close to the board in order to illuminate it. You know, the board that you're shooting at, honestly, at that point, you just deserve it. Last bit about Around the World is that it, like Bumps and Grinds and Office Party, has both a diplomat version and a Topco version, indicating that these games came during the period where the company began to morph into its new form. And with that transformation beginning, this is where the games that were produced under the Diplomat banner end, as Topco officially emerges as the new face of the franchise to produce their own original game, which you will quickly realize carry a much different feel than the original line. So let's transition from one company to the next and see what the minds of Topco have concocted in order to succeed where Diplomat failed. The biggest change that you will notice as we transform from Diplomat to Topco is the style, as in order to fully distance themselves from their past, they have abandoned that iconic Diplomat art style to instead focus on more general iconography you'd expect from the genre. To start off our Topco travels, we encounter a new spin on an old classic, Drink-Tac-Toe. I mean, it's not a bad start, but when the last company came out the gate with Adultery, you can't blame me for being Drink-Tac-Toe takes the general concepts of Strip-Tac-Toe and alters them slightly in order to better market it to their new audience, alcoholics. Some fan-favorite aspects are returning from the original, the bonus cards, the patented 3-in-a-row gameplay, and of course the dinky candle, which the game encourages be bound to the center dish, so they are getting a little more safety-focused with the rebrand. Now, they don't actually give you anything to bind it with, but hey now, baby steps. Whenever there is a tie in the game, you now roll the die to determine the winner instead of just playing again. They considered just removing the tic-tac-toe board entirely, since this will happen pretty much every time, but for some reason the focus group really did not seem to vibe with a game called Drink Die. The other big change is how each player now has their own deck of bonus cards instead of the one deck being shared. So each person will have their own challenges to overcome, and the first one to make it all the way through their deck is the winner. Unfortunately, I can't find what is on any of these cards to give you a feel for the challenges, but seeing as this is all coming fresh off the rebrand, I don't think they would be willing to get rid of the Do a No-No card just yet. It's practically the soul of the company. And that's all there is to Drink-Tac-Toe. A bit of a weak start, but not everyone throws a touchdown on their first pass, so let's see if they can follow that up with something stronger in their next title, Bottoms Up. Looks cool. Want to see more? Yeah, so would I. This is literally the only picture of the game. It is shocking how little info about this title exists, as not only is it a Topco product, as you can see from their grainy logo in the corner here, but it is also an official collaboration with Hustler magazine. Don't know what that is? Good, let's keep it that way. The only info from the game that I can get is from the Board Game Geek page, where we find that Bottoms Up was a roll and move team game featuring challenges in 4 categories: Truth or Dare, Perverted Pictures, Sexy Charades, and Dirty Tricks. If someone lands on a Bottoms Up space, then everyone has to drink. And yeah, that's about it for that one too. Can't really gauge the quality on something we know so little about, so we'll just call that one a wash and move on to our third Topco title, French Cards. Alright, so this one is based off of yet another established board game, but not a diplomat one this time. So with a name like French Cards, can you guess what game these jokers decided to rip off? Close. Scrabble. Hey, don't just take my word for it. They name drop that sucker right on the front of the box. That's a bold move. French Card sees players granted a variety of word tiles that they must use to make a grammatically correct sentence. Play continues like Scrabble until no more tiles can be played. Tiles are reshuffled and redistributed. First player to 300 points wins. Alright, this is seriously just Scrabble with words instead of letters. The only semi-naughty thing that goes on in this one is if your word covers up a pink space, then you roll the die and get that many hugs/kisses from a player of your choice. On top of that, the production value seems to have gone way down. This looks nothing close to the component quality that we've seen from these guys before. It doesn't look like Topco is getting any better, it looks like they're actively getting worse. Well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this was a fluke, maybe it's a slow start. What are some of the other titles that they have? For Lovers Only, a 2-player game where you move along the board and draw cards, basically a worse version of the monogamy type game. 7 Minutes in Heaven, the exact same thing but meant for anywhere from 2 to 12 players, innovating as it now has 4 decks to draw from instead of 2. Party Truth or Dare, a borderline pointless game where you draw a Truth or Dare card and have to follow the instructions. Similar to the free version of Truth or Dare commonly found at parties a la the Spin the Bottle board game. This company stinks! Everything that made the original interesting has been sanded away. There's no innovation, there's no new ideas, there's no charm, there's nothing but general all-purpose non-GMO filth. This is unbelievable. Even though Diplomat's titles were all not very good in their own right, they were at least interesting. You could at least look at them and go, what in the world? Now compare that to one of the Topco titles. Which one has you more curious about what's going on in there? The only way Truth or Dare wins that contest is if I'm curious about why they are making me pay to play Truth or Dare. Heck, it doesn't even come with a candle I can use to light my money on fire. A complete and total downgrade in pretty much every way. I don't even like this company and I'm mad about it. It's that bad. But the story does not end here. Not like this. For Topco realized that what they were doing was a little wonky splonky and decided to fix that by making it someone else's problem. Gifting the responsibility of making their games to their brand new subsidiary, TLC. They've got some big plans in the works, so let's see how the most recent chapter of the story has unfolded. Technically, TLC got started with that Truth or Dare game, like how Topco was involved with Bumps and Grinds, but in a similar manner, we're going to officially count the start of their line here as they fully take over the operation. But unlike Topco, they are not going to waste any time getting warmed up, as they are going to come out the gate swinging for the fences with a new take on a despised classic, the official Bumps and Grinds remake. Oh goodness gracious, just look at that! Original artwork on the front of the box, personality echoing throughout, a cover that I have to censor again? Yes sir, this is some high quality trash right there. This is the kind of travesty I wake up to cover. We are so back! Now, once again, we have very little information at our disposal here. These games are poorly cataloged. Shocker, I know. But from what we do have, we can gauge how this game differs from the original, which it does quite a bit. The biggest change is to the components. While the original game carried the standard board, 2 decks, dice, pawns, and candle, the newer version holds a completely different board, only 1 deck of cocktail cards, same pawns but only 1 die, a feather boa that will be used throughout, and crucially, despite being featured on the front of the box, no candle. Aw, it's not bumps and grinds without the fire hazard. Unfortunate as this omission is, it is not the only thing that has been altered, as the win condition has gone from the unique race to the finish action of first person to lose all their articles wins to the much more standard last player with clothes on wins. More balanced win condition, sure, but less iconic. We've lost a bit of the original's edge with the changes so far. But we haven't just cut things here, as there are also some new additions, such as the Cool Cat Lounge. Oh yeah. Once you enter the Cool Cat Lounge, the door locks behind you and you are now trapped there until you roll an odd number. Every time you roll an even one, you must take that many drinks before trying again on your next turn. I mean, in terms of strategy, this would be like hanging out in jail in Monopoly to avoid hitting properties, but this one does take a little more skill, as you're going to need to be able to handle your handle if you want to stay alive. The cocktail cards are also here, replacing the Tomcat and Pussycat cards. These achieve the same result, carrying effects that you must follow, but do so by framing them as drink recipes that you are making. I don't have a direct example of one of these cards, just what the rules state, but I imagine that a lot of these drinks will be shaking on multiple sides. If a player lands on start, they get a kiss from all the players, and that's about it from new bumps and grinds. Overall, I think the original is more iconic, but hey, they've started trying again, so that's a plus. As for the quality of the game itself, I've pretty much just stopped caring and am really more interested in how funny or baffling it is. Well, if it's funny and baffling you want, then how about a third Bumps and Grinds title? From the makers of that thing that you just saw, it's Bumps and Grinds DVD Edition. But
Hey, what's up guys? Today I want to go over a couple of Alice combos for post-line site with the new support. Like I said before in my last video about Alice, I think this deck is really good, and that's the best like format. I'm going to be showing two combos today, both of them are one-card combos, one with Dormouse and then one with Rabbit. Yeah, I'll start off by just playing this. Here's off by normal summoning Dormouse, finish Rabbit, and it starts off pretty similar to like most combos. You're gonna advance Rabbit. Rabbit's gonna set GWC. That was missed up. Then you go Flash Mage. And this combo also plays around it, by the way. Flash Mage provides Dormouse. You can also go Red Ransom Search Mouse underground. Mouse Underground is going to banish the Mouse in the Mirror, which will banish Dormouse to add a monster to the hand, then add Air. And then Dormouse is going to trigger, for summoning himself. Rabbit's going to set GWC. That was this quick. And the Flash Mage. And this combo also plays around it, by the way. Flash Mage provides Dormouse. You go to Red Ransom quick. Search Mouse Underground. Mouse Underground is going to banish the Mouse in the Mirror, which will banish Dormouse to add a monster to the hand. We're going to add Air. And then Dormouse is going to trigger. So if you get nipped here, you can just hair banish the ransom, play GG2, you can still get the board. And then here we're gonna go Cyrus. Click it, and then we're gonna use hair. If they don't chain nip here, you're gonna trigger Wicked and you get too much value, basically. Yeah, you're gonna banish Red Ransom, summon itself, Wicked's gonna trigger, and then so will Red Ransom. Red Ransom's gonna summon itself back, and then you're gonna banish a cat from the deck, and then Wicked's going to add a backup secretary. And I just like, I did it a little too quickly, but yeah, you summon a cat, res, cat triggers. And then I'm gonna make Heart Scripter here. And then we make White Blacker.
What?
The deck, and then Wicked's going to add a backup secretary. And I just like, I did it a little too quickly, but yeah, you summon cat, res, cat triggers. And then I'm gonna make Heart Scripter here, and then we make White Binder. And then White Binder effect to banish 2. So here, and then we make White Binder. And then I'm gonna make Heart Scripter here, and then we make White Binder. And then White Binder effect to banish 2. So you can banish the Heart Scripter and the Mouse or the March Hare. After that, summon Heart Scripter. GWC effect, banishing White Binder, summoning a guy. White Binder's going to trigger, summoning yourself back out. Out, and we get to draw an additional card, which is pretty cool. Then you have Binder's going to reset itself. Binder's going to reset GWC. Cats can draw 2 cards, you know, pretty cool. And then we're gonna make Firewall next to the White Binder. Summon back a big mister. Backup's gonna add a wizard and discard one of the 3 cards you drew, or another card in your hand, because it's a 1-card combo. Make Grebo, which will trigger, which is Alright, you make Grebo, and then trigger Ignition in the hand. Or use it rather. Summon itself in another dude. Gonna make Grebo, and then we're gonna turn the Grebo, the White Binder, and the other monster into a Code Talker. Talker's gonna summon back Red Ransom, and that's the end board. So you might be asking yourself, oh, well, why do we have Grebo on the end board? Why not?
You're in the perfect time for any big change, especially when you're ready. More times seem so brutal till it catches you. Either you go with flow or force it without determination, but you're not alone in this complication. So come with me on your mind, your guess at the road and treat you alone. Make a movie product, you make an afternoon. One that you can't get your own world, and nobody else will do it for you. Don't just treat it the way you're expecting. Like a nothing going dying in the sun. Show us the world with a wearing, and give the best to us, so let's drop that hammer down.
Every path you go is a prototype, more room for growth at the same time. It's real life on the verge of deciding the color of the rest of your life. Bit too heavy to think like that, but knowing both sides leave big impact. Get wise and rise, so with me best advice.
Some of my regrets come haunting me till this day. Choice I made, it was wrong. I felt blessed to believe that I was alone. I learned it hard way, but you didn't have to go through what I've been through. 'Cause you're not alone in this frustration. So come with me. Make a movie product, you make an afternoon. One that you can't get your own world, and nobody else will do it for you. Don't just treat it the way you're expecting. Like a bell for nothing, golly, playing in the dawn. Show us the world with a wearing, and give the best to us, so let's drop that hammer down. You're in the perfect for getting big change, especially when you're ready. For times it go brutal till it catches you.
Oh, right.
Everything that you felt alone, nobody there to care. Let's make it better. This
Hmm.
rain right now.
What else could I have picked?
Get up and welcome a new day.
I guess just Dominus Impulse or something.
When I look at everybody is right. Try to stand up for yourself and know they stand to you. Turn to be a word change.
Why can't I activate TB11? Oh, because it special summons as its effect.